Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Hearthstone Legendary Series. Thank you to Plantronics for that fantastic commercial once again. Love to see them getting more involved with esports, and a big shout out to them for helping us along with Season 2 of the Legendary Series. My name is Osmo Cutie, joined once again with Hyped, and we are moments away from bringing you the elimination match of Week 1 here between StrifeCro and Lifecoach, the #1 and #2 ranked players in the world from Gosu Gamers currently. So this is a lot of stakes on the line because they're so close in points that it means for the rankings that it means whoever wins this will probably pass the other, and also whoever loses this is out of the Legendary Series for week #1. They don't get a chance at the $1,500. They don't get a chance to qualify for that $25,000 land final, and they don't get the bragging rights.
Yeah,
so
I know both of those players, big braggers. They're gonna definitely talk trash to each other afterwards.
These are
sure.
probably two of the most controversial personalities.
Yeah, StrifeCro is basically like the Michael Jordan of Hearthstone. He's always trying to mess with his opponent.
Yep.
Just whispering mean things to them during the game.
Yep.
Trying to get in their head.
Yeah. Seriously, these guys are probably the two most level-headed and calm gentlemen that you would find, and two of the model citizens that competitive Hearthstone is all about. And they're both very smart guys, very smart players, and they take their time on their turns, which is one of the things that these guys are both known for.
Yeah, it's something I kind of learned from when I first started playing Hearthstone. You know, I'm used to other games where the more you play the game, the quicker you play.
Yeah.
So that was like sort of how I played. I just played quicker and quicker and quicker. Then at some point I realized I had to actually slow down and like correct these mistakes that I was making.
Yeah, you realize that there was better plays in the past turns that you may have skipped over because you played too quickly. That's something that doesn't happen to these guys. When I was talking to the Lifecoach, I was asking him a few questions on Skype, and one of the questions I asked him was, "What's your favorite card?"
Okay.
And he said, Nozdormu. And then he had a slight pause, and then in bold and Skype he said, Kappa. I was like, well
Nice.
played, sir, well played. Funny Lifecoach, funny guy. But I believe it was Druid versus Paladin.
Oh, I was right.
What's the first match? I
missed it.
Okay,
Druid
yeah.
versus Paladin.
Druid
Okay.
versus Paladin. StrifeCro Druid versus Lifecoach. Lifecoach Paladin.
I think it's the other way around, right? Because StrifeCro didn't bring Druid.
Other way around. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
StrifeCro, known for Druid, the creator of Druid, I think. He invented it.
Yeah.
But anyways, he brought Mage, Paladin, Warlock.
He invented it. It wasn't in the game.
Wasn't in the
until
game.
He just made all the cards.
Yep.
It seems like every iteration of popular competitive Druid has had the word StrifeCro slapped before it.
Yeah.
He's an innovator. Yeah.
But they both have the Demon Warlock, but we know that Lifecoach has the Mountain Giants, which I think are going to give them the edge. Remember we were watching that weird Demon Warlock mirror between StrifeCro and Zuzu? We're like, okay, without the mountains, how do you build a board? And they always had like these weak boards. They could always get AoE down. And finally, Azuzu won when he like built this board with like Void Callers. But StrifeCro, if Lifecoach just slams 2 mountains right off the bat, StrifeCoach is going to be, or StrifeCro is going to have a hard time.
Lifecrow and StrifeCoach.
Yeah. Okay, so Paladin versus Druid. Good matchup for the Paladin.
Yep. It's and you can see he has the quality in his hand already.
Lifecoach tossing everything. He knows he needs ramp, and he gets it.
Whoa. Wild Growth and Shaded Naxxramas in his hand. But at the same time, StrifeCro has Zombie Chow and a lot of his good, strong early bodies, which is what you want against Druid. So both these players, the double Wild Growth start. Pretty strong.
Although, yeah, it's a little messy because he uses the coin.
Yeah.
It's fine. He gets the shade out. But then he uses the Wild Growth again. He's going to have 6. So the Drake is even going to come out on curve, basically.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an awkward curve. Yeah, this turn, like if he Wild Growths, then he can Azure Drake next turn, but the Shade would come out later. If he Shades, then next turn he can't Wild Growth and make use of it.
Yeah, the only way not to float mana. Oh, okay, never mind. He roars this turn and then he Keeper's neck now. It's not happening.
And then eventually the Wild Growth just comes out on like turn 7.
Yeah.
It was useless all along.
He could do something. He could Wild Growth and then Azure Drake and then, but he goes with this one.
I do like dodging the Consecration here.
You gotta grow that Shade.
Yeah.
It's a snipe, so maybe Lifecoach will feel the need to unstealth it, but it's going to be 2 HP again. But now he knows it gets consecrated if he wants it. I like this. Like, towards the end of the game, you got to save your keepers, but when it's this early, you got to get it on the board.
Yeah.
The problem is it doesn't like everything's like 3 HP now, so it's not good enough. And we're gonna see it get eaten by either that Shredder or the True Silver.
Sniping off the Knife Jugglers, though, is really great value for that. We've seen Lifecoach do stranger things with his Keepers of the Grove.
Yeah, so Lifecoach actually, remember, has the Nourish in his deck.
Yeah.
And then, so I wonder if we're going to see that Wild Growth save till turn 10. Probably not, though. With 2 Drakes, you got plenty of draw. You just need the mana to spend whatever you draw off those Drakes.
Yeah.
But it is going to be awkward, because he probably is going to go Drake, then he might have a 7-drop by then.
Yeah. He's thinking about whether or not he wants to unleash the Shade of Naxxramas here, because he doesn't want it to just die to Consecrate and basically have wasted that, because consecrating just like a Shade to kill it is not the greatest value in the world, but since he also has a Keeper of the Grove that would get caught in the Consecrate as well, he's trying to think of whether or not he wants to utilize the Shade now or risk playing into a really great Consecration for the following turn.
Yeah, and anytime you can cast Consecration with creatures on the board, it gets infinitely better. But the problem is he was playing on Consecrate, but StrifeCro has the other 2 power 4 drops, either the True Silver or the Shredder. So sometimes you're playing against a Warlock and you're like, okay, he can Consecrate, he can True Silver, or he can just drop Shredder.
Yeah.
It's hard to play around all 3.
Yeah.
Especially since True Silver and Shredder are just so powerful.
Yeah. Paladin, definitely known for their powerful 4 drops.
Yeah. At some point in time, they were trying to run, before Shredder existed, they were trying to run Doomsayer just because they knew they were going to have a power 4 drop.
Yeah.
Mages did the same thing. Mages and Paladins, they would drop Doomsayer on 3. That way they could either Water Elemental or True Silver on 4.
Yeah. Well, the Azure is going to come out, and he also has the Innervate as well, double Innervate.
Interesting.
That is not the greatest hand, I'd say.
Yeah, I think you're not too sad, though, because you know with the Azure Drake, you're going to get 2 cards. You're going to get something.
Yeah. Nourish as well. If you manage to draw into Nourish, he can Nourish to replenish his hand and then Innervate to make big plays, and it looks like he's going to coin out.
Honestly, I'm okay with this. Oh, well, he could go with the Hero Power, but I'm pretty sure he's going to go with the Wild Growth.
Yeah.
It's actually fine here, because if you look at his mana, it was like an odd number, so 5 on 6. He doesn't want to Innervate on 6. He doesn't want to Innervate an 8-drop. I don't think he plays Rag.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to Innervate a 10-drop. What he has is 7 drops and 5 drops, so it's totally fine.
And if you're StrifeCro in this situation, you're trying to think, if he Innervates out of Wild Growth...
Yeah, definitely threatening a 7-drop.
Yeah.
More likely, when you see that play, you're thinking about Boom more so than Lore, but you're still thinking about Lore.
So he's trying to think, what's the best I can leave my board state in this turn to be able to deal with whatever's going to come out from a 7-drop, because the only way you would... Not the only time you would use that play, but mostly that signifies, like you said, that a 7-drop will come out next turn.
Yeah, and like I said, Lotheb's almost always good against Druid, except for on turn 7, because you know they just want to play a creature anyways. Yeah. So Lotheb's probably not going to come down, and maybe he wants to muster. He's like, well, you probably don't want to swipe on your turn 7. You probably want to play your 7-drop, so I could just muster now and punish you a little bit, or force you to swipe.
And both these players are players that think very far ahead. They think into future turns a lot more than others, and sometimes their plays can seem suboptimal now, but then you look at the game in a larger picture later on, and you think, oh, that turn that they made 3 turns ago that we thought was a suboptimal play ended up coming to their advantage. That's why they take so long on their turns.
Right, so he's going to go with the Lotheb. Even though he knows a big creature, he can say, so if it's a Dr. Boom, he can trade into it. If it's the Lore, he can kill it. But he could be also making the call that he doesn't think Lifecoach has the 7-drop. And now Lifecoach can't use his Innervate. He's a little sad. Is he going to Hero Power the Lotheb? I love to see preemptive Hero Powers, but they take a lot of balls sometimes because you can get easily punished.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is sort of a preemptive Hero Power, but it's like the
safer one, yeah.
The single ball.
But I love to see the Lance Armstrong.
The Lance Armstrong, exactly.
But I love to see when they do like a really crazy Hero Power into like a 5-power thing. You're like, oh, what are you going to do? And the next turn you see something crazy, like, wow, that was sick.
Yeah. Sick.
Sick.
Reporting for duty.
Sets him up for a pretty good Dr. Boom next turn.
Lifecoach, yeah. I think Lifecoach is going to cut the second forest after this series.
I think Lifecoach is going to cut the Druid.
Yeah, just cut the Druid.
He did manage
he loves Druid. He always loves a little bit different Druid. So Nourish is something that he's always snuck in his Druid decks for a long time, and then he
the Miracle Druid.
Yeah, right before GVG.
Yeah,
he brought a Miracle Druid out. A lot of people loved it. He created a deck, and then everyone's like, "Wow, this is good." Everyone played it.
Literally everyone played it.
Yeah.
Like the next tournament was like everybody had a Miracle Druid with the Gadget's End and the Moonfires. It didn't last very long.
Well, that was the thing. It was right before GVG. So it was like Nax had been out for a while, and everyone's like, all right, Nax is stale. We'll wait for GVG. And Lifecoach is like, no. There's still good decks to be discovered. I make this brilliant deck right before GVG comes out. But then They nerfed the gadget.
Yep. 5 mana Gadget and Auctioneer.
Yep.
Rest in pieces. This is a tough turn.
Yeah.
That preemptive hero power could have made the difference.
Yeah, well, let's
Not
see. Well,
really.
could have StrifeCro punished? Maybe. I don't know. StrifeCro couldn't have punished. No, it would have helped.
Yeah. He ended up having to do it
Yeah,
anyway.
he had to do it anyway, so it didn't hurt him or help him.
Yeah.
But maybe he would have made a different play this turn if he didn't have to do it. But now he has the 14 plus 5, 21 damage combo. If he picks up a second Roar, he still has to wait 1 turn. But yeah.
But I don't even know if it's going to last that long. He does have the big game hunter to be able to deal with the Dr. Boom in this situation. But there's so many other threats on the board right now that with a hand as dead as his right now, with the combo and with big game hunter, I mean, this is okay because he has a big game hunter and he has a threat that's going to fill up all his mana as well.
Yeah. So yeah, Lifecoach's hand, he had all the ramp, but it was never like perfect curve. It was always like as if he didn't have the ramp anyways almost, and then he was playing Azure Drakes, which a slightly weaker creature.
Yeah.
So losing tempo the whole time.
He was barely ever to make use of the extra mana that he gained from both those wild growths. He got locked out by the low dev, which was pretty big.
Yeah. That was huge.
Does he want to pop the Paladin Shredder?
Yeah, he might go for like an Innervate Hero Power before he Big Game Hunters, or he's like, I'm at 10 HP, I need to get this.
Yeah.
Just please hit my Big Game Hunter for 1.
Yeah. There's a chance that he could be dead next turn either way.
Oh, is there... I don't think he's going to go for the Shredder kill. Maybe.
He wants to take damage off the board, because right now
hits the
there's 9
Shredder.
damage showing.
I always have these ready. If he hits the Shredder, Explosive Sheep, Hero Power it, one of the bombs kills your... Yeah.
Always have it ready.
Yep. And then one of the bombs hits your Piloted Sky Golem. I think you get, what's Lightwell? Is that? No, that's a 2-drop, right? I think there's a 5. Yeah. There's a 4 HP heal that I'm forgetting, I think.
No, I'm drawing a blank here. It's too many 4-drops. The Wii Spell Stopper.
Yep.
That doesn't really stop anything for Paladin.
Alright, if he hits, he just needs 2 damage. Or he needs 3 damage because he's losing. Still fine play.
I have to think whether or not he wants to trade into this, though.
Yeah, like I said, the Sky Golem holder benefits from it dying first, whereas if you're against it, you don't really want to kill it first because there are some things that can kind of change. Was it like we saw that Cult Master yesterday? He killed it, and he's like, "Oh, now I got to give you a card by killing your other dude."
But most of the time, like it's not gonna really block much damage. There's Dread Corsair, which can, which is a taunt, but it's a very weak taunt. Senjin, yeah.
He's like one more.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Looks like he's just gonna pile on the damage, and this is rough. With double Savage Roar.
Yeah, he is dead to double Savage Roar.
Wow. So he's on a Savage Roar jar. Oh, swipe.
I think he's 1 mana off killing him with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
he has 22 plus 4, but he's 1 mana off.
That's pretty rough. He's doing the math right now. He's trying to figure it out, but
if he didn't innervate that Wild Growth, it's possible that he would have had the innervate here and been in the same position.
That's true.
But probably not, you know.
Because actually, think about it. Well, no, because this last turn he wouldn't.
Yeah,
he would have had 8 mana.
Already.
Yeah.
Well, he would have cast the Wild Growth at some point. Maybe, I don't know.
That's true.
It's possible that innervate combo double combo innervate swipe.
We have to go deeper.
All right, but what there is a in terms of spell power, he could get the mini mage and then get a big swipe. All right, what do we got here?
We'll swipe first.
Because he wants more bomb targets that are not his face. All right, so do you sack your Sky Golem to look for the taunt or something? Because he can make the value trades, or he can make the I need something now.
Because unless he innervates out hero power, he'd be dead to anything.
All right, all the 2/2s.
Okay.
Only one has an effect though. Although that mini bot is a mech, so I think he should clear the mech because what's that Cobalt Guardian? I don't even. Is Cobalt Guardian?
Yeah, Cobalt Guardian.
I don't even know what it does.
Gains Divine Shield whenever you.
Oh, you have to play a mech. So it doesn't even matter if one's on the board.
No mech synergy in Paladin.
No.
Play on hands. It's like there's nothing that he could draw that he could. Yeah. No 1 mana. but at the same time, he sort of wants to keep applying pressure here, because if he gives up a turn by Leon Hansing, he might give the Druid an opportunity to
He
like
just
play
saw a
something
swipe.
big.
He's like, these 7 hero powers. Oh, you can only afford 6 on the board.
Yeah.
Unless he trades.
And he knows that if he's been keeping track, that Savage Roar has actually been in Lifecoach's hand since his opening hand.
Okay.
So if he's been keeping track, he knows he can most likely assume that that is a Savage Roar, because everything else would have been played unless it's a second Force of Nature.
Yeah. See, they're all like weaker than Sen. Yeah.
I mean, you can get like a 3-2 out of a piloted Shredder, and it's almost as good as that is.
Actually, you can get a 3-2 out of the Sky Golem. It's the Enhancer Mechano.
Oh yeah, that's true. That is true.
It sucks.
It really sucks. Oh, swipe off the top.
All right.
And he does have Ancient of Lore, so he can use that as sort of an emergency heal or desperation draw.
StrifeCro with the restraint, not casting the second muster too. Paid off. I might have casted it myself.
And actually, he's forced to land hands here because a Force of Nature Savage Roar would have killed him with that Ethereal Arcanist on the board. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lifecoach always holding on with his Druid for a while.
He's a fighter.
Yeah, and he does run double combo, so he can pick up the second copy combo. Is he forced to heal, though? He knows there's no lethal last turn, so Consecrate is what kills him now.
Yeah.
Does he need cards? Does he need to not play just a 7-drop in hero power? Because that is kind of a weak turn. If it was GC2 Turth, we know he would draw here.
Yeah.
If it's Lifecoach, we know he's not going to play Keeper by no means.
I don't know. I wouldn't put it past him. No, he's Ancient of
No,
Lore.
this is one of the situations where you would save the Keeper, but although with that Roar in hand, he might be thinking, I want 3 creatures on the board for Roar. I'll Roar clear whatever he plays next turn.
Yeah. But he's thinking, what cards have I seen that would kill me the next turn if I ended the turn at 3 health here?
Yeah. With that Lay on hands, though, you got to be thinking he picked up a True Silver or the Consecrate. He's seen one True Silver. He's seen one Consecrate, too. Or no, he hasn't seen any Consecrate. Doesn't go heal, though.
I like, though. He makes the winning play.
Yeah, unfortunately, if he did heal, though, he would have picked up the Dr. Boom next turn anyways, which is huge value. So he would have lived and had the value he needed to win, maybe.
But True Silver Champion is in hand for StrifeCro.
Actually, yeah, that is the only card. Or, yeah, because Consecrate wouldn't have been enough anymore.
Yeah.
With the hero power.
Lifecoach probably kicking himself in that one. I mean, you can always, hindsight is 20/20,
Yeah.
but
No, I think it was right, though, because he saw the one True Silver.
It was just as likely that he would have had a Consecrate as well. He actually did put himself at 4 health,
Yeah,
so
with the
Consecrate
hero power,
wouldn't have killed him.
So.
He ended up trading and then using the 3/3 that he had on the board to clear off that last hero power. So StrifeCro is going to take game number 1, picks up a win with that Paladin, and it seems like a trend here that Lifecoach, he loses that first game. I think he's lost the first game in all the sets that he's played, but
just trying to give his opponent some false confidence. It must be some poker thing.
Exactly, yeah. Who knows? The mind games. And he looks visibly upset just to make you feel overconfident.
Yeah.
That's when he strikes.
And then he just takes a sip from his swag cup.
one of his many swag cups. He actually used 3 different cups yesterday, plus a very chic, I guess that's a word, kettle.
Oh right, the kettle.
Yeah, he's very modern.
Definitely.
Yeah, he's ahead of the times. But Lifecoach or StrifeCro still has to pick up wins with Warlock as well as Mage, I believe.
Yes.
That was the Mech Mage that we... No.
Yeah.
Mech Mage. And, of course, that Demon Handlock that we saw. The big question here is whether or not Lifecoach is actually going to switch things up. Is he going to stay with that Druid, or is he going to try and switch classes to try and catch StrifeCro off guard? And he actually does switch.
And I think Lifecoach's Demon Warlock should have the advantage. StrifeCro has an additional Hellfire, I believe, which isn't going to help him. I don't know. We thought Lifecoach was a 2 Hellfire guy, 2 Shadowflame, but I think we did see 2 Hellfire and 1 Shadowflame.
2 Hellfires,
okay, so they both have the same AoE, but all I know is Lifecoach has 2 Mountain Giants and StrifeCro doesn't. So if Mountain Giant comes down and StrifeCro doesn't have the immediate Big Game Hunter, which isn't even good because we know Lifecoach has Mal'Ganis, and I think that's it. Dr. Boom, okay.
Yeah, you talked about it a little bit earlier, but yesterday we saw that standoff between Azuzu and I believe it was StrifeCro.
Yeah.
where they were just sort of going back and forth, trading small board, and
Yeah, there's like the double taunted Ancient Watchers. Those help stall
Yeah.
the game. But without, I don't know, if one guy has the Mountain Giants, there's no stalling.
yeah, and you can even make bigger swing plays with like a giant Shadow Flame. You can make those more consistently than
so-
you would.
On turn 7, 8, 9, you're thinking about Mountain Giant Shadow Flame.
Yeah,
As StrifeCro facing Lifecoach. Alright, so definitely going to keep the Mountain Giant. But does he keep the Void Caller? I've seen when they only play the 3 demons, Draxus, Mal'Ganis, Dread Infernal. I've seen, and I guess the second Void Caller.
Yeah.
I've seen some players toss the Void Caller in this situation, especially since he's going first. He only has three cards. He has Mountain Giant, turn 4 into 5 Belcher. I mean, I guess he can afford to keep the Void Caller because he has a turn 4 and a
Yeah.
turn 5 play already.
and it's always good to have that, like sort of the backup threat.
I could see him also tossing the Belcher because you don't need the Belcher if you have the Mountain Giant on the board. Although if he gets Big Game Hunter, then you do want the Belcher to kill the Big Game, kind of. But again, you don't want to give Big Game Hunter that much value.
Yeah,
So we'll see what he does, but he's definitely going to keep the Mountain Giant. I don't know what else.
yeah,
Now, StrifeCro, he knows he has to deal with Mountain Giants. I wouldn't be surprised to see him keep the Watch and the Shadow Subfury, but that's really weak. But, taunting up Ancient Watches is one way you can kind of stall. I don't know exactly what he's looking for in this matchup as StrifeCro. I don't know. I mean, Big Game Hunter for sure, but I don't know what else.
He draws into Ancient Watcher. It also has an Iron Beak Owl.
Okay, so he gets the taunt. So hopefully he can taunt up 2 Ancient Watchers and not die
Yeah.
immediately.
So
Solanas is going to be good, but I think he might have to save that for Shadow Flame. Or he wants to save it for Shadow Flame, but we're going to see a few turns where he's like, I want to save it, but I think I got to play it. Coin tap. I like it.
he's digging.
Another thing, too, is he has the 3-drop, the Earthen, and the Ancient Watcher, so he doesn't have to worry about ever overdrawing. He can just tap as much as he wants. Like full hand, you can throw
Yeah.
one of those out.
You only ever want to coin tap when you know that when you have a play in your hand already that you can play,
Yeah,
or else you'll
or you're desperate.
overdraw. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to throw away the coin.
Actually,
if
we
you
saw
make, like, the
players-
desperation.
We saw yesterday players really not throwing away the coin, throwing away things like, we saw someone throw away something somewhat useful. Oh, I think maybe it was Sun Fury
Yeah, yeah.
instead of the coin. Okay. So that's Lifecoach with the Big Game Hunter. StrifeCro's the one that needs it more.
Yeah.
StrifeCro's targets are, I think, just Dr. Boom and Mal'Ganis.
Because he plays an Earthen Ring Farseer on turn 3, turn around on turn 4, Lifecoach can just go ahead and play a Giant, and
Yeah.
it's just so tough to be able to deal with because even if you BGH that target, you don't have BGH later on for Molten Giants or Mal'Ganis, which gives you a leg up.
That's right, StrifeCro does have the Moltens. Okay.
Mhm.
Alright, so if he throws on the Mountain, besides Big Game Hunter dies to not much with the Earthen on board, it'd be, he knows he doesn't run power. He knows he only runs 1 to 0 Dark Bombs. Okay, but he goes with the Drake first.
Well, Drake forces him to sort of have 2 cards to deal with it, like an Owl and a Mortal Coil.
Yeah, and I don't even know if StrifeCro, he has the Owl. I don't even know if he'll use it. It's his only Owl. He
Yeah.
might not feel the need to. Might not want to use it. But he knows that Drake's going to be alive for a long time. Although it's got the 9 HP, he's got 2 Hellfires. He could Hellfire it down. Goes for the Owl. Lifecoach has the Mortal Coil ready.
That's a big investment to kill that Twilight Drake, though, because now he doesn't have that Owl, which can be so useful.
Yeah, if he
later
didn't
on.
kill it, though, he would have had the Drake and the Mountain Giant on the board, so probably
Yep.
the right choice from StrifeCro.
The Tap Giant here,
Nice.
no BGH in hand, not a real way to deal with this. I mean, he has the Sludge Belcher to stall for time.
Yeah, now the Mountain Giant is a little more vulnerable to Shadow Flames, but, since it doesn't have the full 8 HP. And sometimes you like to Argus that up to 9 so it can dodge any type of Giant Shadow Flame.
Yeah.
But not too worried, just going to throw it down with the, go ahead, trade your Owl in.
Yeah. Sludge Belcher would buy time. Twilight Drake would be a 4/10. So that would, in theory, be able to trade into a...
Yeah, I think
A Mountain
Lifecoach would
Giant.
just, if he tries a Drake, he'll just throw down a Belcher maybe.
Yeah.
Or he could taunt up a Void Caller. But anyways, yes, it's StrifeCro's turn. Yeah, so no direct answer, right?
Yeah.
It's like turn 5, so he doesn't want to Void Caller, but maybe that's his only way back in it.
Do you really want to give up Draxus, though?
I'm not sure.
Because,
Maybe he
Lifecoach-
feels like he needs something.
yeah.
But I think also StrifeCro really wants Moltons, so he'll try to weave in a tap. Okay, no. But I mean, he's full this turn anyway, so it would have been really weak. Okay, I like it. Okay.
Cashes in on the owl.
Threatens the Void Caller.
Yeah.
There's so much power, like when you see your opponent Void Caller and you don't know the right play because you don't know what demons are in their hand.
Mm-hmm.
So Lifecoach has like the Mountain Giants, so he probably only has one owl as well. It's only a Zuzu, the double owl.
So he's trying to think of if he can trade into this Void Caller, because what can come out of this? It could be Draxus, it could be Mal'Ganis, it could be Dread Infernal.
Yeah.
He's trying to think, do I have a way to be able to deal with whatever comes out of this?
Yeah,
this turn?
He can big game out of the Mal'Ganis. Draxus, he could ignore-ish.
Yeah.
Well, Draxus is the most difficult, and then Dread Infernal is kind of messy, but I mean, he's got the Giant there.
Yeah.
So he gets the Sylvanas down first and doesn't trade. He's like, I know you don't have an owl anymore.
Yeah.
So I'll play this.
So whatever
then,
comes out, I can take it. Worst
yeah.
case scenario.
Counter Sylvanas? No. The counter Sylvanas, okay. If he counter Sylvanas, then Lifecoach would hit that Shadow Flame. Oh no, it wouldn't work. Okay. I'm sure there's probably a way to do it. Yeah.
It's hard to picture when it's actually not on the board. But this is a tough turn. He could try and work something with Hellfire, but he'd be getting dangerously low. Like he could Hellfire. No, because then the Sylvanas
the
would
Void
steal.
Caller goes first.
Yeah.
So
many possibilities.
So maybe he wants to get like the Ancient Watcher on the board this turn. Oh, he's gonna go for the Hellfire. Oh, he's just gonna hit the so now it's gonna be Draxus versus Sylvanas. But he can put the Ancient Watcher down as well.
And just hope that it steals the Ancient Watcher. Yikes. This is a really...
Oh, no, wait. He can just steal the full Draxus.
That's, yeah.
Yeah. So Lifecoach is like, okay, so if I steal your Draxus, what exactly are you going to do to it? Are you going to steal it back? It's like, do you run Sylvanas Power Overwhelm? That's like the only thing. Lifecoach, he didn't even think about it. He's like, there's nothing you can do. I'm just throwing it down.
Pretty
It only does
straightforward
3 damage, but it will never die to AoE, so there's that.
And this is that situation that you were talking about. Those Mountain Giants just cause so much problems for StrifeCro, who just doesn't have enough big threats to be able to stand up to it. And having to make a desperation play like that, where if he leaves that board up, he's going to die in like a turn or two.
Yeah, but in the StrifeCro versus Zuzu match, when Dr. Booms came down, both players were like at 25 HP.
Yeah.
Whereas now StrifeCro's at 16. He knows there's no burst, though. He knows there's no Dark Bombs, maybe one, and the Hellfire's gone, so...
StrifeCro voluntarily gave up a full Draxus just to be able to take those threats off the board. Lifecoach
really
looks very confused.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, thank you. I'll take it.
When you see a player make that play, like, what is he going to do next turn? But he took it pretty quickly. He's like, you can't do anything.
Yeah. He's intrigued at this point. There's like nothing.
Yeah.
Because if he Hellfires, he's pretty much dead. He is dead.
Shadow Flame, but he can't Sylvanas Shadow Flame for a while. He can, next turn he can Molten Shadow Flame, but 10, 11, 12, he's at 2 HP. So Belcher.
Has to Belcher.
Alright, so Lifecoach wants a Loatheb of his own. Okay. That's one way you lock a... When you have a big board, you Loatheb, you just win. Alright, there probably is a lethal here if we look hard enough.
Yeah. It depends on the bomb damage. Because he actually has 2 Mortal Coils as well.
Yeah. So Argus on the Drax is probably... Okay, bombs first. I like it. Nope.
Well, he could try and Hellfire here. But I think he wanted the first iteration of the actual Sludge Belcher to die before he...
Yeah. The nice thing is the Draxus is never going to die to Shadow Flames outside of Sylvanas Shadow Flame, so he could just... but the Dr. Boom is. But what he can do is he can put the Void Call on the board, so if he's like, go ahead and Shadow Flame, and I'll get a Mal'Ganis. I don't have one, but I'll pretend like I do.
Yeah. He's trying to go through the odds of whether or not this Bootbot is going to kill that Sludge Belcher, but he's going to use the Hellfire first. See where this bomb goes. 3 damage to face.
That is lethal.
That is.
Wait, double...
Yeah, he just Defender's Argus, and then he's got 8 damage from the Dr. Boom, so With the boom bots,
Yeah.
he finds it, and Lifecoach gonna tie the series up at 1 apiece, and that was pretty much doomed from the start for StrifeCro.
Yeah.
Almost identical decks, just Lifecoach's was a little bit better for the mirror.
Yeah, and that's pretty sick. So the Boombot was on the board before the Belcher, so the Boombot Death Rattle guaranteed to hit face.
Yeah, I think he actually needed at least 3 damage, either 3 or 4 damage for that to be a lethal, because he had 4 mana remaining. I mean, no, he actually could have just double
No,
Mortal
because
Coil.
he could have double Mortal Coil.
Yeah, so there was a couple
probably
ways.
guaranteed lethal.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, probably. Who knows? Those
Yeah.
boombots make things a little bit tricky, but StrifeCro still has to find a win with that Warlock if he's going to want to take this series. Lifecoach has Druid and I believe
Paladin.
Paladin remaining. Yep. And so
So yeah, 1 win for each of them.
is StrifeCro going to try and find a win with that Warlock still? Is he going to try and switch things up? Warlock seems like it'd be decent. He doesn't want to really match up Mage with that.
Yeah, another Mage won, didn't it? Mage beat. I don't know. Okay.
No, that was the series before.
It was Paladin that won.
Yeah, it was
Okay,
Paladin
okay,
that won.
okay.
So StrifeCro still has that Mage left. He still has that Warlock left.
Okay.
So I'd imagine StrifeCro is just going to stick with that Warlock again.
Actually, this is one of the ones where it comes down to. It might come down to the matchup. So Mage really wants to face Druid.
Yeah.
Warlock. Yeah, I think he's going to go with the Warlock first because he's going to have a harder time getting a win against Paladin and Druid.
Yeah.
Whereas Mage going to be pretty easy.
Yeah, he needs to find that win. And there's also an argument for you play the deck once, you lose with it, you're getting comfortable with the deck.
Yeah.
Like your mind is in the Warlock decision-making process at the moment. So
yeah, he sticks with it.
and Lifecoach heads back to the Druid. Now, this is an interesting matchup. This Demon Handlock versus the Druid here. Lifecoach's Druid is a little bit faster, but it also has some more rampy properties to it, like that Nourish that we saw.
Yeah. As long as he doesn't get clogged with double Force, he should be fine. Force is actually pretty good in this matchup as long as it doesn't get clogged early. You kind of do want 2 Force. You do want to, because sometimes you just combo clear some Giants, and you just combo them again next turn. Or you just need combo ASAP, because you ramp up, you have a strong start, and you just need to finish them off the combo before the Warlock can stabilize.
This matchup has gone more towards the Druid's favor over time. Back in the day, because of the lack of hard direct removal,
Yeah, but the
Druid
Void
was
Callers,
considered very weak.
the Void Callers, I think, bring it a little bit back in the
Yeah.
Warlock's favor.
Yeah. Wild Growth start, but double Savage Order is not something
Yeah,
you want to
Drake's
see.
a little weak, but he might keep it with the Wild Growth because it's so Wild Growth on 2, coin Drake on. You don't want to waste your ramp on a Drake because it's like a weak. It's a 4/4. It's like a 4 mana card, even though it costs 5. But you get the card. Spell power is relevant.
So what is StrifeCro looking for in this matchup?
I'm not sure if he wants the Void Callers early or not with this deck,
Yeah.
but probably Void Caller Drake. Can't silence them both.
Yeah.
He's thinking about it.
Another way that I've seen some people play this matchup, but it's not really too likely, is playing it with a lot of pressure, forcing the Druid on the back foot.
Yeah.
Getting like if you have Ancient Watcher Owl in your opening hand, keeping that and trying to go for the early pressure type thing.
I don't like it. I don't like Ancient Watcher. Ancient Watcher Owl. The win rate of that has gone down over time. It used to be pretty good, but it's really weak now. It doesn't get the job done.
Yeah. Very risky.
Yeah, picks up Chow's. Looks like they're not going to kill anything though ever.
As both Molten Giants and
That is, I mean, you don't. That will help. That is like one of the ways, because Druid can sometimes they put the pressure on and they don't have the combo to finish, and they need double Molten Taunt. Okay, so Nourish is a card.
it is a card.
So
That is a fact.
Yeah, this is interesting. I think you get, like I said, the Shade dodging AoE is huge, so he's really tempted to just coin Growth into Shade.
Yeah.
But if he does Growth next turn, and then he can coin the Nourish the following turn. But I don't think StrifeCro. I mean, I don't think Lifecoach is doing the mana ramp with Nourish often.
Yeah.
I think it's mostly just card draw.
Card draw. Because he won't be building a board for like at least 3 or 4 turns if he goes past here, Growth next turn, into coin Nourish, which is a little bit. It's sort of a liability to go that long without doing anything.
Yeah, and then plus you put this big creature on the board, Sky Golem, but you don't really want to pressure the Warlock that hard right away.
Yeah.
You don't want to give him the Moltens, which he does have.
Yep.
Whereas this, with the Shade, he can take his time. Oh, he does play Rag. Okay. Alright, so we got the Twilight Drake Void Caller. That's good.
He wants to draw into something that he can actually play this turn. Wow!
Yeah.
That's
sick.
pretty fantastic.
Now, StrifeCro doesn't have the demon, so normally you'd throw the Drake out, let it get silenced, so your Void Caller doesn't get silenced. But
Yep.
with the no demon, okay, there's a demon. I said with no demon, you might throw the Void Caller first, silence it. Go ahead, silence it.
Yeah.
And then you throw the Drake out, because he didn't have a demon anyways. But now he does have the demon, so we'll see which one he goes with. Now, Draxus on the board would be pretty good, that 3 HP. He has the Argus right there. So I think he really wants the Draxus on the board, so he wants to test for silence now and guarantee the Draxus on the board with the Void Caller.
416 outside, like the 416 Defender of Argus of Draxus is so hard to deal with for Druid. They don't have direct removal.
No
Even if
Black
they
Knight.
silence it, it's still a 315. A lot of Druids haven't run Black Knight for a while. I think Black Knight's only really seen in Paladin nowadays.
Yeah.
And even then, it's not as popular as it was like when Heavy Ramp was popular, sort of at the beginning of like last season.
Yeah. It would be funny to see silence too, and then you just taunts it up. Yeah, you can't silence it unless you're going to kill them next turn, because you know they have so many Sun Furies and Arguses.
You silence it, all you're doing is taking out like 1 power, 1 toughness.
Yeah.
But it's really rough.
Lifecoach looking. Oh, he does ramp. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
so
he has Rag for next turn.
Okay.
So I think this would be the only case where he would, if he knows that he has a huge play for the following turn.
Yeah, he's looking at that 8 HP Drake too. He's like, all right, perfect.
Yeah. He's loaded his sniper rifle.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that nourish was. Prepping the Rag.
All right, so the obvious play is the Belcher, but maybe he wants to get the Lord Draxus on the board ASAP.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna wait to see what pops out first.
Wow. Knife Juggler, one of the best things that you can get from a Paladin Shredder.
Yeah, I think he just. Okay. That goes with the Belcher.
Yeah, I like Belcher here. It fits on curve. I mean, yeah, he does want to get the Lord Draxus out on board.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
he is thinking he saw the ramp in 8,
Yeah.
but he saw that Lifecoach before did like a ramp into 7. It's like I got a 7 drop, and then he didn't have it.
yeah,
So he's like, okay, I'm not gonna fall for this
maybe
again.
he's bluffing again.
But 8 is pretty specific with Ragnaros, and if he was watching the games yesterday, he knows Lifecoach plays Ragnaros.
But
So
does he remember though? I mean,
sure he did a quick refresh before the games today.
yeah.
So he knows Belcher's better to Ragnaros. And if the Void Caller does get hit by Ragnaros, Draxus on the board doesn't really compete with the Ragnaros. Actually, so now that you mention it, Druid has no way to deal with taunted Draxus, but Ragnaros is actually pretty decent.
That's true. I actually forgot that Lifecoach actually had the Rag.
Yeah, big target. Absorb 2 Rag hits, die.
Yep. I think this is a turn where you can bring that shade out.
Yeah, well, I don't know, because you have 2 non-face targets with Rag. It's kind of good, but then you have the chance at the full clear board on the Drake if you do bring it out.
Yeah.
But if you do bring it out, he's going to have a hard time. He's like doing the math. He's like, okay, so you can Big Game Hunter, and there's no Dark Mode. So it'd be Hellfire Big Game Hunter, which is 7 mana, which StrifeCro doesn't have. So he's safe to that. But he's thinking, what else? I think I would keep it. Actually, he's thinking if he keeps it stealth, what kind of Shadow Flames are going to come out that could also kill this Rag?
Yeah.
He's probably thinking about that as well.
Yeah.
So Shadow Flame, it'd only be Watcher Shadow Flame at 2 mana, so he's safe to Shadow Flame as well.
Yeah, I guess pretty much safe from everything. The only reason I said that was because he doesn't have any pieces of the combo, but I mean, I guess since he is safe from Shadow Flame, that shade could just continue to grow. There's not really any outside of like a Sylvanas Shadow Flame play down the road. There's not really much of a threat that shade is going to be under.
All right, so if he Mortal Coils and taps, that's 2 draws for Big Game Hunter, or he can just he can tap for it once and then play the Void Caller if he doesn't get it.
If he doesn't get the Big Game Hunter here, he could be in some serious trouble, because if he's using up all his mana this turn to try and dig, or some of his mana to try and dig gear, there's a chance that he could be dead next turn.
Yeah, but I mean, look, if he trades the Drake into the Knife Juggler, and then he plays the Void Caller, then you're not really sad if the Void Caller hits, if the drag hits the Void Caller, if it hits your face, or if it hits those 2 weak creatures. You're actually happy, and then you can play the Dumb Molten. So I'm surprised he didn't Void Caller here. Maybe he does want the Draxus as a creep, So now, okay, so if he trades the Drake into the Knife Juggler, Those are all bad rag targets. And if it hits face, even worse because double molten.
Yeah. Whoa, double BGH. Second time we've seen that, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm fine with either. Probably just lower though. Usually you lower.
Yeah.
You lower when you can.
Yeah.
Because you might not be able to later.
It's still a large board as well, and he can fit in the hero power to snipe down the... Well, didn't take out the shield last turn, so I guess at 5 health, it'd still be just as protected as it was last turn. But holds it in.
So he's going for the Drake, but okay, that is the best one.
Snipes it. Wow, not really the greatest of draws here. There could be a play here to try and... No. He still turns away from being able to make a big Shadow Flame play. He's not low enough to try and leverage these Molten Giants quite yet.
Yeah. So maybe he's figuring if he needs to Mortal Coil for the extra draw.
Yeah. He can break out Draxus here and Defender of Argosy.
Yeah, you're always going to be in a hard spot. The Rag lives 2 turns. You still don't have the Big Game Hunter. Almost all your plays are going to be really weak.
Rag hits the taunted up Draxus twice. It's dead.
Actually, he can kill the Rag with Hellfire Mortal Coil and trade both in.
That's true. But if he does that, then he's dead next turn to just a Savage Roar.
Yeah, probably did to what's on board.
Yeah. Be at 17 health. He wouldn't have any mana left over to do anything but tap. There would still be 12, 13 power left on board. A swipe would kill him. Savage Roar would kill him.
Yeah, do a 4 mana. Needs that Sun Fury, Shadow Flame. He's happy to see it, but it is a little late.
Whoa! He taps.
Dead to... Nice.
Dead to a lot of things.
Dead to Keeper.
He is dead to Keeper. Yeah, he's got 13 damage showing on board.
Oh, wait, you can't Drake into Keeper because he doesn't have Mandate Hero Power, right? Yeah, so you can't Drake into Keeper.
No. He could Drake into Swipe. You can Drake into Savage Roar.
Lifecoach is probably thinking he has a Mal'Ganis, or else he wouldn't have made that play.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh, he's still alive. Not going to be able to kill him this turn. And
yeah.
He's thinking, do I want to throw these in? Do I want to give him free Molten Giants? Very risky.
Although now he can get Shadow Flame pretty hard. I think with that lore, you're more inclined to take it. Lore double. Actually, he has double Big Game Hunter.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe just go face.
Yeah, I was gonna say. But he's trying to think of what big swing plays that StrifeCro can make next turn. Like, can he make any plays with like double Molten Giant? Even if he double Molten Giants,
Molten Shadow Flame 1.
Yeah, Molten Shadow Flame 1. He's just gonna go for it though. He's confident that both of his big game hunters. All right. Well, is there going to be any outs here?
That's good.
Lifecoach.
That's good.
He can Molten, Shadow Flame a Molten, Ancient Watcher.
Yeah, and double taunt.
Double
I think
taunt.
You gotta So there's Doomsayer off the Shredder, or there's Cho. I think those are the 2 main ones I think right now. So I think I would Shadow Flame first to avoid Cho. Although I guess Shadow Flame's not that. You can give him Shadow Flame.
Yeah.
You just gotta watch out for the Doomsayer. So go ahead and trade first. Bluegill.
Just gonna get caught in the crossfire. Poor little Murloc.
Didn't even get to charge.
Nope. Oh, you can actually, yeah. Shadow Flame. Ancient Watcher.
Cool, cool.
Strong play.
So he needs to taunt the Draxus rather than both giants. Yeah. Oh, where's it going?
I mean, this blocks more damage. Maybe this is a weird way to play around double BGH.
Yeah.
If he expects double BGH to come out.
No, yeah, but he can't even Hellfire here, this Shade.
Yeah.
StrifeCro know about that. He's like, yeah, I knew that was happening.
It doesn't look like he looks slightly confused. I mean, that's StrifeCro's thinking face, but
He's like, I'm not dead yet. So Lotheb, Sludge Belcher strong. There's also Dr. Boom heal.
he's dead to direct damage.
Yeah. So Dr. Boom heal puts like 12 power on the board.
So scary, though. Because not only does he have to keep himself alive, but he also has to find a way to dodge swipe long enough to either draw into his anti-heal bot.
Yeah,
or
speaking of
kill him.
draws, he could Lotheb tap Farseer, then he'd be safe from swipe one more turn.
Yeah.
And it gives him 2 draws for heal bot because he's going to tap twice. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the Draxus
No,
heal.
if he Lotheb taps,
Oh, I thought he had 10 mana. I thought he had 10 mana. I thought
still
he
be
had 10 mana
dead.
this whole time. That's why I thought he was going to Lotheb Belcher. That sucks.
Makes it rough. Makes it really rough. Heals himself, so swipe won't do it just yet. Force of Nature's Savage Roar would be enough, but still hasn't drawn into it.
And that Sky Golem, I wanted to see the Sky Golem do work, but it's just sitting in his hand.
Yeah. Well, he's had so many other like big threats to plop down
Yeah.
over the past couple turns that it's just been hard. This is a tough turn because he's got to make the decision whether or not to play Dr. Boom or try and draw into something better
Yeah,
with
I think
Ancient
you got to
Lore.
play. You can't risk not playing.
Yeah.
Because when you play the lore of the Boom, you're losing, you know, a lot of potential power. You got to make the power play here.
Yep.
Because it's not like he only needs just one swipe or anything. He needs multiple cards to win.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. StrifeCro's still not dead somehow, so I guess he's stabilized.
He's lost a lot of his tools, though. I mean, he has no Molten Giants left. He has no Jiraxis to bring himself back up to start putting threats out. He's still going to be on like draws for lethal. He does have Taunt Givers, though, so he can continue to make walls.
Does he have to double trade into this Dr. Boom? He has his own boom bots to absorb bombs, so that's nice.
Yeah. I think he does have to double trade into this Dr. Boom. He's a little bit more inclined to do so because he has his own.
Yeah. I think he's going to kill a bomb. He's going to trade in the Earth and then try to kill a bomb with the Jiraxis. He's giving more, non-face bomb targets. So trade. Oh, okay. I guess he's not killing the Boom. He's going to let the try to taunt Boom. Alright, he's letting the taunts do their job, blocking the Dr. Boom.
Is he just
Druids
going
don't
to
have
taunt?
Shadow Flame, so he's
Okay,
good to go.
here we go. All right, so are there any draws for lethal here? No.
Swipe plus no.
Swipe wouldn't have done it. Didn't have Force of Nature, so a single Force of Nature or a single Savage Roar.
Yeah, if he can silence the 7/7, he can throw his Boom into the Draxus and then bomb into the bomb. So he needs a keeper. And he has the Innervate, so he can draw. He gets 2 draws for the keeper. Did he use a? He didn't use a keeper yet.
Yeah,
I don't think he's used a single keeper, so he uses a keeper on the Dr. Boom, and he's good to go. Yeah.
I think you get the lore here. Lore drawn to a keeper, perhaps.
Okay,
I
so if
believe he still has both swipes in his deck as well.
Yeah, if he doesn't get the keeper, he can throw the Dr. Boom, or he has 2 sources of 7 damage, so those 2 taunts are done. He hits the bomb, and he only needs one thing to go face for whatever the bomb doesn't hit. But yeah, that's not gonna happen. Okay. Alright, so okay. Dr. Boom into the Draxus, Wrath Shade into his Dr. Boom. But you wanna, okay, well, swipe. I wonder if he's gonna trade the Shade first. Yeah, he doesn't want the Shade to get swiped. Or Shade to get bombed, rather.
Oh, a big bomb takes out the Lotheb, and all of a sudden, StrifeCro's wall
Oh, that Draxus.
is no more.
You hear that Draxus death rattle?
Yeah. It's a death rattle.
Yeah, that's what
His death
the
rattle is
original.
a scream. It should say that.
Yeah.
Death rattle. Lets out a blood-curdling scream.
You ever go on Wowhead and go into like the German Jiraxis, play with the sound bites?
Yeah.
Pretty fun.
play Hearthstone in a different language too.
Yeah.
Listening to all the. Well, he still has to be worried about Mount Ganis, so Lifecoach.
There's the keeper. One card too late. Let's see if StrifeCro's like, there you are.
Yep.
I needed you.
He,
still
he had to have known that was going to come.
Looks like it's lethal here, anyways.
Yep.
Yeah.
Multiple ways.
Yeah,
He's going to go for style points here. All right, Lifecoach takes game number 3 to take a 2-1 lead over StrifeCro, and StrifeCro has lost 2 games in a row now with that Demon Handlock. So, I mean, I'd imagine he'd go for it again, but that's just really rough for him. He's in a hole now, has to win 2 games in a row against Lifecoach. That's a tall order.
Yeah, we saw Zuzu beat StrifeCro's Warlock with his own Paladin, and now we're going to see Lifecoach try. Lifecoach's deck is a little slower, though, so maybe he won't be making those kind of all-in aggressive plays, hoping to top deck.
Yeah.
What was it? Not Quartermaster. I forgot what he top decked that won him the game. I think it was just a True Silver or something.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to see Lifecoach maybe not playing as aggressive, but he knows the deck. He knows how to beat it. He knows like how people beat his Warlock with it, so he's probably going to play it perfectly.
So he's got Paladin, just Paladin to win, and he has to beat either a Mage or a Warlock. Now, the Mech Mage could be quite difficult. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter if he goes with the Mage or the Warlock here because he has to win with both regardless. So it's kind of a moot point, but he might want to switch it up to the Mage just to get that victory under, just to sort of take away Lifecoach's momentum, take the wind out of his sails a little bit. It's possible that he might switch things up just to give himself sort of a fresh look and not lose 3 games in a row with that Warlock deck.
And if there are Gosu Gamer points on the line, I'm not sure if the matchup score matters, but that could play into a little bit.
We're trying to figure it out yesterday, but it's hard to tell how their point system works. So whether or not you get 3-0'd or 3-1, but
I feel like StrifeCro doesn't care about it though. He's like,
I don't know. It's a lot of bragging rights. A lot of people go on that and reference it when they're talking about the best players in Hearthstone.
But yeah, we know. I'm pretty sure Lifecoach doesn't play Mind Control deck. That's how Azuzu stole that one against Mech Mage with his Paladin.
Yeah.
All right, so it is going to be Paladin versus Mage.
Yeah.
Yeah, without the Mind Control deck, I think the Paladin's going to have a hard time. But it can still do it. Although Coghammer was kind of a big card for a while that helped, but we'll see. I don't. The Sky Golems, if they come down, they're good, but usually they're too slow.
Yeah.
Usually, Paladin versus Mech Mage, you see like the ideal 6-drop being the Sylvanas come down, the Paladin throws it down. They're like, please don't ignore it and go face. And then people do, and then the Paladin loses. Although we saw Caldi trade into it because he had the confidence in his late game with the Harrison, but it ended up being his downfall.
Yeah. Well, Lifecoach 1 game away from moving on to the semifinals to face Azuzu for a chance at that invite to the LAN finals and the $1,500. StrifeCro has to win 2 games in a row now, 1 with Mage, 1 with Warlock, to be able to move on. This is a good matchup for him, but we've seen Paladin have some highs and have some lows so far over the course of week number 1 of the Legendary Series.
Equality is actually pretty sick with Muster. Sometimes you could just full clear.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good hand from StrifeCro. The Noyatron is going to be amazing versus that True Silver if he can clear the totems, the tokens.
Yeah. Quality is a risky keep, though, because if you keep Equality and don't get something back that's something that you can play on turns 1, 2, or 3, then you might have the Equality, but you don't have anything to do with the Equality. And sometimes cards like Anoyatron, cards like Paladin Shredder, Equality's good, but you're still leaving stuff on the board.
Right, so he keeps the True Silver.
Gets a shield to mini-bot, so that's a good start. Yeah.
Will he play the Big Game Hunter on 3?
I think it depends what he draws, but I think so. Okay. I don't think you can afford to. If you get to the point where you're holding on to the Big Game Hunter to wait for the Dr. Boom, then at that point you probably already lost.
Oh, this is rough. Can't do anything about it. Now the mini bots, the Anartron's going to do his job, block this.
And True Silver Champion, pretty much a dead draw since he already has the other one. To make use of both of those, that's over the course of 4 turns, which is a couple turns too many when you're playing against Mech Mage, who will already have gained so much advantage by you not drawing into something else that you can play.
Actually, Anartron isn't. I think you just ignore the mini bot, go face. If he has the muster, he has the muster, but he's going to get wrecked by Blast Mage soon anyways.
Yeah.
Alright, so choosing to keep the 1 mana Noatron for a turn when it's going to better fin the curve, which is next turn, if the Mech Warper lives.
Yeah.
And it's going to live. There's no muster.
BGH has to come down here. I don't think there's any doubt.
Yeah.
You can't let him gain that much advantage over you, and doesn't think about it too much, plays it down. Oh yeah, the Toshly. That was a little bit of an addition that StrifeCro made. He didn't look that happy to draw into the Toshly.
Yeah. I think Frostbolt's better than Scientist. You just Frostbolt the... Maybe not, though, because as the Consecrate comes down, you're pretty good to Consecrate, actually.
Yeah.
But maybe you want to get the Scientist out the turn you can. But, I mean, if he plays Blast Mage on 4, he's looking, he has no 5 play anyway, so maybe let's play it on 5. Yeah, so Frostbolt comes down.
Yeah. Because either way, the only thing with Consecrate he'd be able to clear is the Annoyatron. And I like the Annoyatron is just so tough right now because it's strong against Consecrate. It's also strong against True Silver because...
And Shredder. So those are the 4/4 drops.
Yeah.
Can't even play the Shredder. Can't play the True Silver. Consecrate's not even good. Consecrate's the best, but it's still not... Actually, doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
So you're safe to all the Paladin 4 drops, but it was mostly because of the Mech Warper. There's a turn ahead. He's basically Wild Growth. It's Wild Growth with a body. It's even better than Wild Growth.
Yeah. Whoa!
Yeah. It's like the only time that Druids weren't good were when there was a lot of Mech Warper decks and a lot of Undertaker decks, because those are both like Wild Growths with bodies, basically.
Unfair, man.
Yep.
Why don't you just play Mech Warper with Wild Growth?
Yep.
The best of both worlds.
Done.
With Undertaker.
Yep. Well, the Undertaker's not good anymore, but yeah.
Yeah. I've still seen some hunters that are repping the Undertaker.
Okay, okay.
With Face Hunter, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, they do whatever they want.
Yeah. As long as you got Wolf Riders and...
Yeah, they're like, look at my Face Hunter deck with Deathwing. It doesn't matter, dude. It doesn't matter.
There was a guy in the Legendary Series. He's wearing a suit, UNC Tennis.
Oh, okay, I remember UNC Tennis.
Yeah, yeah. He's wearing this.
Yeah, that's now how, whenever I face
Was that
a
the week
Face
that
Hunter,
you played?
I'm not sure, but whenever I face a Hunter on ladder now, I just assume it's just some guy in a suit just chilling.
Just chilling. Yeah. That was one of the best weeks. One of the best weeks. Goblin Blast Mage seems like an obvious choice, but...
Yeah, it's actually one of the weakest Blast Mages ever, because you don't really... I mean, you'd like it to hit the mini bot twice, but in this situation, I think you just want it to go face. I guess if it kills the Shredder... It doesn't even matter if it kills the Shredder. We see that Lifecoach does have the True Silver, though, so it does matter if it kills the Shredder a little bit, but...
Yeah.
Really, it's a super weak Blast Mage, but he's not going to play it unless he wants to play around Mind Control Tech, maybe.
Yeah.
But I think you're perfectly happy just throwing the Mech Warper into the shield bot and everything else at face.
Yeah. I would agree. If you want to try to preserve the Mech Warper a little bit more and throw the Spider Tank, you're a lot weaker to Consecrate. Because the Spider Tank would get caught in the mess.
No mechs in hand, so he doesn't need the Mech Warper anymore. Alright, so he trades first. I like it. There's pretty much no reason to,
Whoa!
Perfect.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. It is beautiful.
A sight to behold.
Now the Shredder does go into the Blast Mage, though, after the... Oh. Consecrate. Pretty good. Is it better than True Silver? I think it is.
I think it is. Yeah, you clear off the Mech Warper and the Annoyatron, and you're still able to clear off the Goblin Blast Mage. And you leave the Spider Tank at 2 health, which it's likely that from your Shredder you get something that's 2 attack. So you're basically putting the board back to even. The Mage still has the initiative, but we can see in StrifeCro's hand, he doesn't really have much use for 5 mana. Like he's got Toshly Boom in his hand, but unless he picks up something that he can play alongside Mad Scientist, it could be a pretty big swing turn.
And if Lifecoach gets the Sky Golem down next turn, the Scientist can do nothing because he has no more creatures.
At the same time, though, having 2 True Silver champions in your hand.
That's the only thing that's making him like, I kind of want to get this down. That way I can True Silver and swing and Consecrate in 1 turn, or True Silver, swing, and Sky Golem in 1 turn.
Yeah.
It's really helpful. It's like that one time that Azuzu had the True Silver on, and he played the Mind Control Tech. It's a big swing turn.
Yeah. Yeah, now that I think about it, True Silver seems like a better choice. You also
so Consecrate... So Consecrate saves you... It only saves you 2 damage and gets the Spider Tank weaker, so I guess maybe you do go up the True Silver... Or 3 damage. I think the True Silver is better now that I think about it. There's some... But, I guess it's because we know there's no Mech Warper targets that we...
Yeah. Because he could get punished if he's got like a handful of mechs. But at the same time, you have Consecrate in your hand, you have that AoE. You have a potential to draw into equality to go along with that Consecrate for the following turn.
Oh, a little bit punished though, because so Consecrate would save him 3 damage, I guess. Now he can kill that. Actually, he could trade that with the Spider Tank maybe even, because he knows he wants to True Silver your Spider Tank. If he trades it, he'll get heavily punished by the Consecrate though. Oh,
Yeah.
this is going to be a sick Consecrate. No, okay, he trades.
I think he might have made the read that, hey, he might have had Consecrate and was thinking whether or not he wanted to choose
Okay,
over
that
Consecrate.
long pause.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's hard to make that read against
yeah.
Lifecoach because he goes to rope a lot of the times anyway.
Lifecoach is thinking really long about this turn. What does it mean?
Yeah.
Oh,
Maybe
just,
nothing.
Yeah.
He's got 5 choose over champions. He's deciding which one he wants to play.
All right, so he's at 11. He knocks out the mech. Pretty good.
Yeah, Paladin Sky Golem.
All right, I want to see this card do work. He made the choice to put in his deck. I want to see him rewarded.
We've seen some pretty underwhelming Paladin Sky Golems so far.
Yeah, so it's about time to get some good ones. They're all like, so you got, Ethereal Arcanist and like some other 3/3,
We got
right?
a Cold Master yesterday.
Oh, that was good, but it was in control.
We had a Korkan Elite.
Okay, but it wasn't his turn.
Yeah.
Pretty juicy piloted Shredder ping, but you know that the scientist isn't going to kill anything that comes out of there except for Cult Master and Hanso Meccano.
Yeah.
Toshli, pretty solid, but he knows it's vulnerable to Aldor when you play against Paladin.
Yeah. I think Toshli might be okay here because
Also has the option to just Shredder go face.
yeah, that's true. He knows that BGH is gone, so maybe
that's true.
Toshli is a good Aldor target because Dr. Boom can come out next turn and he knows that it'll most likely still be a 7/7 body.
Yeah.
But Shredder Ping is sort of the medium here, the best of both worlds.
Yeah, when you're thinking about... I think he wants to get the...
This way he sets himself up, since he's doing an extra damage to face, he's setting himself up for a Fireball top deck plus Ping next turn for...
Okay,
oh
yeah,
no, it'd be
Shredder
a
face.
mech, so it wouldn't even matter. This would set him up for... No, it wouldn't even set him up for Frostbolt Ping.
Okay, forcing the entity. Oh, I was gonna say, like, what are you thinking about a Paladin's like turn 7? They don't really have any 7, but they could do like Belcher mini bot or something, and he gets the Belcher, but he has the entity down, so he's safe to Belcher.
Yeah.
Whereas if you played the Toshli, could get Peacekeeper.
Yeah.
All right, so Summoning Portal is like -2, right? So if he gets Summoning Portal, he can Aldor and Belcher.
Yeah.
So the taunts they're not that great. It's the Nullifier is actually pretty good in this situation.
Oh yeah, the 2/5 taunt that can't be targeted by spells. I mean, you can to trade in to see what he gets here.
Yeah, like I said, if you're the Sky Golem player, trading in is usually almost always in your favor. It can never hurt you unless you are planning to heal and you get an Akanai.
Yeah.
Everything else helps you to trade first.
He also wants to try and eliminate the mech synergy as well. Put the Cogmaster back down to a 1/2.
Yeah, he might be wanting to trade the Sky Golem into the Belcher too, but I agree with you. I think he should knock out the mech synergy. But he could do that with the True Silver if he wants.
Take more damage.
Yeah. And Lifecoach plays with this card a lot, so he knows he knows what he's doing with the Sky Golem. So. Yeah, True Silver it is.
Yeah, and this eliminates Mirror Entity a lot quicker than he would have been otherwise.
Please tell me you got the hit off.
I think he did. Saw the
I know,
highlight
but
at the end here.
this.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, see, I think he should have traded that first because it usually helps you. But another 3/3, yeah.
Well, he's seen one Outdoor Peacekeeper. He's seen Big Game Hunter. It's turn 7.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is prime real estate right now.
Oh yeah.
Dr. Boone is very happy to move into that board. Ooh,
Not
Kel'Thuzad.
quite good enough.
Yeah. Interesting card.
Maybe next turn with the Belcher though. So get the Belcher down, then I love to destroy my Belcher, get the ooze, and then res the Belcher. It's fun.
Kel'Thuzad, we talked about it earlier, Lifecoach likes to play Paladin a little bit slower than a lot of players. He adds in cards like the Piloted Sky Golem, cards like Kel'Thuzad. He plays the matchup a little more control-y.
He knows that StrifeCro doesn't have Fireball, which is nice. So if he plays the Belcher, he doesn't have to worry about Fireball. He knows the Belcher is actually going to do its job with Taunt. So I don't think he has to Consecrate if he doesn't want to. Land Hands is a little weak here because you can take the boom hit.
Yep. Let's see if he... Yeah, Lay on Hands would bring him up to 13. He could bring himself back up to a maximum of 15 by leaving everything else on the board.
I'm surprised he didn't True Silver into that, because he's a True Silver something. Maybe not. But yeah, it looks like he's going to Belcher this turn. Really?
Oh, wow.
Wow. So he's going to True Silver face.
He's got to move quick. Whoa.
Okay, so he only healed for 3.
I kind of like that, not leaving on the board, but
I think he's dead if
3, 4,
yeah.
that is a lethal draw right there. There was so many draws. He had both fireballs left in his
I
deck.
mean, even just the boom bots.
Yeah, they could have killed. So looks like StrifeCro is going to tie this series up at 2-2, go into a game 5. Yeah.
The mage to beat the paladin.
Yeah, I'm sure StrifeCro did as well, and that's sort of that momentum thing that I was talking about earlier, switching it up. He knows he has to find a win with that Warlock, but he knows that he also has to find a win with the Mage and bring it down to a game 5, taking the momentum away from Lifecoach and putting it into his hands.
Yeah, so Paladin versus Warlock.
Paladin versus Warlock.
Kel'Thuzad, Paladin versus Warlock. It's kind of hard to use Kel'Thuzad, though, against classes with big AoE, because whenever you throw down Kel'Thuzad against, say, a Warrior, you're thinking Brawl. Warlock, you're thinking Shadow Flame, and then Equality.
Brawl is risky against Kel'Thuzad, though.
Yeah.
Because you could end up just, the Kel'Thuzad lives, you just killed all of your creatures, and then everything just respawns. And if they had any Death Rattle creatures on the board as well, the Death Rattle spawns plus whatever first iteration that creature was, like that Sludge Belcher interaction that you were talking about. So, a little bit risky. I've been in that situation before.
It's happened to
Desperation. Well, I played, I don't mean to brag or anything, but I think I have like 1,200 ranked Control Warrior wins.
Nice. It's almost platinum.
Almost
platinum.
I want a platinum border.
Yeah. All right, yeah. Warlock versus Paladin. Lifecoach regular, just glass today.
I know his cup game is just off. I'm pretty sure he was drinking some sort of frothy beverage.
Frothy.
Yeah. He is German.
Okay.
He lives in. He told me he lives in Austria now, though. It's a German player. Lives in Austria. Vienna, Austria. Here's his exact address. We'll put it right below.
Nice.
No, just kidding.
I don't think he plays he doesn't play 2 big game hunter in the Paladin. No, there's no way. It's just the Druid.
Yeah, just the Druid was the 2 big game hunters. We were talking about it a little bit yesterday. It's hard to fit in double big game hunter into a lot of decks. Druid, Warrior, you can fit it in. But Paladin, especially since his Paladin is so heavy compared to a lot of Paladins, it's hard to fit in those big game hunters. It's not as useful in this matchup as well. Double big game hunter, I mean, what would you bring it for? The traditional hand lock with Mountain Giants.
Yeah, I guess it's not that amazing versus Warlock.
Yeah, not many other classes run double 7+ attacks. Like you see Dr. Boom in a lot. Sometimes you see Dr. Boom plus a rag. But other than that, double big game hunters.
Keeping it though.
Yeah.
Even though he knows he doesn't play mountains, he keeps it. Interesting.
That's sort of like an emergency tool, maybe, if there's an early board caller. He has a way to deal with it. It's a lot of 3-drops.
Yeah.
I didn't even know Paladin had that many 3-drops.
I don't know. He's got the Aldor Acolyte combo. Pretty sick.
Yeah.
There's the Mal'Ganis. So the big game hunter is going to have a target.
Maybe. He's got to draw a board caller at some point, yeah. This is a pretty decent hand right now. He's got a lot of options on all the turns. The Peacekeeper can come down, which is, I mean, Drakes are a great target. And then you said the Acolyte of Pain to follow it up. He can guarantee himself multiple draws. Or bait out an Owl, which at this point he can pretty much confirm that StrifeCro only runs 1 Owl.
Honestly, he could, if he's willing to waste the coin, he could coin Acolyte right here. He knows there's no Dark Bombs. He knows it's too early for Hellfire. And he knows he doesn't want to Owl it.
Yeah.
Gets 2 draws, but does he really need 2 draws? I mean, the coin is pretty valuable. Our Paladin's hands are typically very expensive. And like getting the Sky Golem out 1 turn earlier can be very valuable. And
it's not like if he doesn't use the coin, he doesn't have a play. Because he does have the Shielded Minibot this turn. Maybe if that Shielded Minibot was something more expensive, I would say, yeah, for sure. Go ahead, coin out the Acolyte of Pain. You're not going to get much more value out of it than you would in this situation. But Shielded Minibot seems like the more reasonable choice.
Double Demon, no Void Caller.
Yikes.
Although, I mean, Drax is just fine as Drax's first Paladin. So he's got the double Sun Fury, so if you could set up a nice little taunt wall that's not very quality consecratable, like with the Ancient Watchers,
Yeah.
they could freely Jiraxis, hero power and win.
Yeah, if you get to the point where you can play Jiraxis safely against the Paladin, you don't automatically win, but you're in a pretty good spot because Paladins don't have burst. And usually if you're able to play Jiraxis, they don't have a board big enough to just be able to burst you down. So you get it back up to that 15 health. A lot of time, by that time, the Paladin has expended a lot of their board. They're running out of cards. So
usually I go when I'm playing against Paladin and Jiraxis, I go down in health. I'm at like 20.
Yeah.
Just go down.
Yeah. The faster you can get it out. How are they going to deal with 6/6, 6/6, 6/6 every single turn?
All right, no AoE from StrifeCro. He doesn't need it yet, but he sees Lifecoach still has the coin, so he is thinking about coin Quartermaster, but StrifeCro is more the player where it comes to coin master. He's like, if you have it, you have it.
Yeah.
Or I'll deal with it later with Hellfire. Shadow Flame. Alright, so Aldor prevents Shadow Flame, but he knows that StrifeCro is 2 Hellfire, 1 Shadow Flame, so maybe he doesn't feel the need to Aldor that.
Aside from that, he doesn't have many solid plays here.
Pretty weak.
Yeah, I mean, he could just hero power here, but this is a turn where you want to... Well, I guess not necessarily. Second Muster is sort of the same thing here. It's just playing into AoE.
Yeah, I don't really like any of the plays, but does he feel the need of the Aldor? We'll see. He knows it gets Hellfired. Maybe he just wants the 1-draw from Acolyte. No, it looks like he's gonna... Okay, 1-draw from Acolyte. Or force him to Drake into it. It's not the worst.
Ancient Watcher. He can create a wall here.
Yeah, even just Sludge Belcher is really strong.
Yeah.
It's actually... Oh, this is amazing Sludge Belcher. It's almost always good against Paladin, though, outside of Black Knight.
Yeah. Usually you're forcing them to get rid of all their tokens.
And yeah, True Silver doesn't even, like, hit it right.
Yeah.
Usually you have to, like, True Silver and then throw, like, a mini bot, because they don't have a totem token.
Yeah, it seems like Handlocks always play Sludge Belcher on turn 5. It's just natural. But it actually thinks like he, judging by his movements here, values the larger wall over getting that Sludge Belcher down.
I mean, it does fine. It's only weak to equality. And he doesn't want equality this early. So pretty solid.
Now he can be a little bit more liberal with the Eldar Peacekeepers, but still playing into AoE. And now with an Ancient Watcher on board, he knows that not only is he risking playing into Hellfire, he's also risking playing into the Ancient Watcher Shadow Flame.
Yeah, it's kind of messy.
I think he wants to save the coin here for Dr. Boom the following turn.
Yeah, but Strider is pretty good here.
Yeah, because his other plays are weak. Everything else plays into AoE. Coin Piloted Shredder. Or Piloted Sky Golem.
Pretty sick. Put it in the middle for Wii Spell Stopper. Or put it next to something on Argus. Oh, no, he doesn't run Argus. It's supposed to be in the middle. Okay, that's fine.
Maybe he'll watch and get the memo. Is there anything else from 4-drop besides
I don't think so. I think it's just Wii Spell Stopper
benefits from being in the middle?
I think that's the only one.
Yeah.
This is Shadow Flame. Honestly, he can wait for it. Like, he doesn't have to Shadow Flame here if he doesn't want to. He's got the big taunt wall. But he doesn't have, like, the instant Shadow Flame drop in hand like a giant or, you know, so he wants to tap.
He doesn't have to... But if he doesn't Shadow Flame this turn, then he's risking...
Well, he knows he doesn't have the Quartermaster yet.
Yeah, that's true. But at this point, he's been through a lot of draws. He can...
All 3 demons, no Void Caller. Rough.
It's just a really awkward turn overall.
So I think StrifeCro's hand is so high value, he just all he needs is time. He's like, all right, I just need to make long-term plays. Give myself more time. He thinks that this is going to give him the most time.
Whoa!
That is the best one.
Pit Lord! Oh my goodness!
Like
he
we
was
said,
not
I think he
expecting
deserves it. He's only gotten bad ones until now.
Yeah.
That's the best one.
Yeah, he was thinking. I mean, most of the time you get something with 4 or less health.
Yeah.
Like 4. I think even 3 health. It might have been closer to the average there. But that really hurts because he has to trade the Twilight Drake in plus give up his Sun Fury Protector. So that's a pretty big deal.
Still doesn't die to anything. He doesn't really want to consecrate.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
Now, since he gave it the coin last turn, he doesn't have Dr. Boom this turn. This game is just filled with weird turns from these players.
Yeah, but as I said, like, if you look at StrifeCro's hand, it's amazing. It just needs more time. And if you look at Lifecoach's hand, he can't really apply the pressure. Dr. Boom, it's like a one more turn. If it doesn't, I don't know. Dr. Boom alone, it's like so good when you have a board, you just play Dr. Boom, you win. But when it's just alone, sometimes it could get cleared. I don't know if it's enough to create any pressure. Because if Lifecoach doesn't create any pressure, StrifeCro's gonna play. He's gonna play Jiraxis.
Yeah.
He's gonna make some totems or make some Dread Infernals, and then he's gonna play Mal'Ganis, buff him up, make him giants.
Dread Infernals are quite a bit bigger than totems.
A little bit.
Totems on steroids. Oh, wow. Oh, no. The Dread Infernal value.
That is sick.
That is absolutely sick. And this might, I mean, Dread Infernal is a card that hasn't been played in competitive, like, ever,
Yeah.
I don't think. And Void
Just
Caller
making its
makes
way
it
in.
strong because it's a 6/6, it dodges BGH. Also, with Paladins and Rogues being really popular, Violet Teacher tokens, Muster for Battle tokens, I mean, I think you have to go for it. The other option here is you do have the Void Caller, you have 2 demons in your hand, maybe you want to try and build some synergy there. You do have Sludge Belcher and Tap, which sort of fits your curve.
Yeah, Earthen on Twilight Drake isn't the worst here.
Yeah. That's very true as well. But at the same time, this is the second muster. If you get rid of this muster right away,
That's true.
you don't have to worry about Quartermaster as much anymore.
Yeah, I think you are a little bit sad about him lights justicing your Drake after he gets Dread Infernal.
That's true, yeah.
But yeah, not clearing when you don't have Shadow Flame to clear it if anything does happen, it's a little risky. So
There
he
we
goes for
go.
it.
Oh no, it's so great. It's
Yep.
so beautiful. That's the most satisfying feeling in the world.
That's sick. Alright. Now I think you have to Dr. Boom.
Yeah. I always say there's no better time to play Dr. Boom than right on turn 7.
I wonder if
coin
that
on
Harrison
turn
is going
6.
to unequip Jiraxis' weapon. Might happen this game.
It's tough though because you have to make sure you don't overdraw.
Yeah.
That's a high
Maybe you don't care
durability
though
weapon.
maybe you don't care though at that point.
Yeah.
As long as you don't overdraw your equality.
Yeah, it's rare that Paladins lose like because of fatigue. Unless the only time I've ever been to a fatigue situation when I was playing Paladin was against Fatigue Mage, of course, or against another Paladin. Like if you guys are both on equal footing and you're like trading back and forth, your decks are very similar. That's the only times that I ever get to like a fatigue matchup with Paladin. So you're right, it could be pretty inconsequential whether or not he overdraws, and getting rid of that weapon is a big deal.
Alright, so if he doesn't want a Dr. Boom, it's an Aldor on the Dread Infernal.
Yeah.
But that seems pretty weak.
So, this is such an intense match. I mean, these guys not having great starts, tied up 2-2 in this series. These guys were probably, I mean, they were the invites, but they were probably the favorites coming in.
Definitely.
Just because of their world ranking, their prestige, I guess. And now it comes down to this match. The loser is eliminated from the Legendary Series week number 1.
He actually doesn't have a way to deal with the Dr. Boom. Lifecoach is probably thinking, no, he's just going to Mortal Coil it.
Yeah, yeah.
Big game hunter.
Doesn't even have Defender of Argus to buff that up. Like a 4-drop plus Defender of Argus to be able to trade in would be good here. But he, unless he builds a small wall, like he could, I don't know.
Yeah, I think Belcher's enough, honestly.
Yeah.
He knows that Lifecoach doesn't play Black Knight, so he knows the Belcher's going to stick. So he has one more turn.
He needs to get at that Void Caller at some point, though. But it's not a safe enough turn to be able to do that this turn.
Actually, I mean, 7, 8, 9, 10. He's actually, I mean, Paladin, True Silver, Consecrate, that's the only burst. Okay, he goes with the Belcher. Belcher's going to do its job. Goes with the heal rather than tap. Fine with that. He has... Oh, pushing a lot of damage. Alright, he does pick up the True Silver, so he would have had the burst.
Yeah, yeah. So it ends up being a solid play. But with the pressure here, he's going to have to find time. I think True Silver is probably a good player to take out this Belcher. You can throw the bomb in to try and like snipe down the Earthen Ring Farseer here.
Yeah, and just get an Aldor on the Dread Infernal.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think maybe he's thinking about keeping his. Is there a way he can keep his boom super healthy? I guess yeah. You throw the boom and yeah.
Yeah, if you outdoor the Dread Infernal, the worst case scenario, you're throwing the boom into the Earth Ring Farseer.
Yeah, or just or face.
Or face. Yeah.
But yeah, oh no, with the double Moltons, I don't think he can risk that.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's not gonna go for that True Silver thing and keep it healthy. So he's gonna go for Aldor, maybe Healbot.
Well, this way, this is actually more consistent because either way, his Boombot's most likely going to take 3 damage. So he can assess the board after the Boombots instead of using the True Silver Champion.
So Aldor and then Healbot, yeah.
Yeah. So this way, he holds on to the True Silver Champion to be able to do maybe a little bit more burst.
Yeah.
True Silver Champion Consecrate from hand is probably the most amount of burst that a Paladin could possibly do.
Except for like double Knife Juggler,
yeah,
double Muster.
Okay. Do Jiraxxus. Trade into the Dr. Boom and Jiraxxus while you still can.
Nah, it's too. You're at 12 with 5. That's super low.
Okay, hear me out.
You have 1 Taunt Giver.
Okay, so you can Jiraxxus this turn and set up a play next turn where you Infernal, Voidcaller, and Taunt. Because then if Voidcaller gets killed, you're guaranteeing Mal'Ganis to come out, which protects you from burst.
We'll see if he does it, but I don't know though.
Because he doesn't have enough mana right now to like Voidcaller, Twilight Drake, Sunfury Protector. He can play Antique Healbot here and like a Twilight Drake and trade in, which I think would be the only play. If he doesn't play Jiraxxus, then I think that would be.
Yeah, I like the Drake.
Twilight Drake, Antique
I like Drake
Healbot.
better.
Okay.
He doesn't have to Healbot because he could go for like a super big.
Oh wow!
Now he has the double balance heal with the Healbot and the Jiraxxus. He's actually going to get value out of the Jiraxxus heal.
Yeah.
Which is pretty big.
Unless Jiraxxus gets popped from this Voidcaller.
Oh, that's true. But he's got the Healbot, so it's not too big of a risk. If Jiraxxus gets popped, he gets a taunt.
The one thing that we still have not seen yet, though, is the equality come out. So.
Yeah, I think Lifecoach just got to only run 1. I don't know with that Kel'Thuzad deck. You'd think he'd have 2, but with 2 Sky Golems, maybe cut inequality.
We've only ever seen 1, and we've actually been through quite a bit of this Paladin deck because some of his Paladin games have actually gone quite a bit longer than you usually see Paladin games go. But that has to play into the back of StrifeCro's mind here.
Yeah, I'd really rather be in StrifeCro's position now. I'd feel super safe with the double heal.
Oh, he wins. Wow, lethal.
Okay, lethal.
Oh my gosh.
Nice.
That's all it took was 2 damage from the bomb.
Yeah.
And Lifecoach, he throws his hands up and he's going to cheer out. And Lifecoach is going to take the series 3-2 over StrifeCro. Lifecoach's cup game was not on point, but his Hearthstone game today was on point. And he's going to reclaim his throne as, I guess, the unofficial number 1 player.
Number 1. Yeah, definitely.
Number 1 player
Although
in the world.
Maybe if he loses to the next guy, if he's super low ranked and steals some ELO.
Yeah, that could be a possibility. But Lifecoach will move on to face Azuzu in the semifinals. Unfortunately, StrifeCro is out of the tournament, so he will be getting $200 for participating in the Legendary Series. He was one of our invited players. But our semifinals actually consists of 3 players from the Challenger Cup, the Open, and of course 1 invite being Lifecoach, which is pretty even. We started out with 6 Challenger Cup players and 2 invites, so that is what I'd expect to happen out of that. But congratulations, I mean, to Lifecoach. That was a really well-fought series, 3-2, a nail-biter down to the end. Our semifinals are set. Koronico versus Kaldi?
Yeah, Kaldi versus Koronico.
Kaldi versus Koronico, and then Azuzu versus...
Oh, no, GCT Turth.
Oh, GCT Turth. Oh, yeah, he did win with that Shaman. So you can see on your screen there, that's going to be the semifinal bracket. And, of course, the winner will take home $1,500 and be guaranteed an invite to our $25,000 land finals. I just want to give you guys a little bit of a quick reminder about the puzzle that we showed you a little bit earlier from our friend Freshka. If you guys are just now joining us, we put a puzzle up on the screen earlier. We'll see if we can get that screenshot up once again in a little bit. But head on over to facebook.com/ESL Hearthstone. And if you think you know the best way to handle this scenario on your screen right now, go ahead and post facebook.com/ESL Hearthstone. If you get it right, your name will be entered in a raffle. And at the end of the day, we'll draw from those people that got it correct. And we will be giving away, I believe, packs, maybe Plantronics headset, something. So put your thinking caps on, see what you can come up with, and head on over there. We do have 3 more matches thus coming up today for you in the Legendary Series week number 1. It is going to be the semifinal between Koro Nico and GCT Third coming up next, followed by Lifecoach versus Azuzu, and then the grand finals here on day number 2 of week number 1 of the Legendary Series. Guys, we got plenty more action coming at you. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.